Have you ever met the connector? Well, he ponders, he helps, he creates, he writes, he speaks. He basically connects people and brings them together. I speak about Paul Solano of PS and All Marketing Group. At psandallmarketinggroup.com, you will receive an assembled group of Paul's contacts and connections that cross into many sectors of life. Please contact Paul Solano at 617-240-4130 or psandallmarketinggroup@gmail.com if you are in the market for a wide array of services. Again, please contact the connector, Paul Solano, at 617-240-4130 or psandallmarketinggroup@gmail.com with any questions. And now, here's Paul Solano, the host of Paul Ponders.
Welcome to Paul Ponders. My name is Paul Solano of PS and All Marketing Group, and I may be reached via email at paul@paulponders.com. Thank you for joining me for my foray into podcasting. It is great to be collaborating with my friend and associate, Chalonzo Amos of PodPro Entertainment, to bring you some fun, exciting, and informative podcasts. For many years, I've been referred to as the connector, or in Greater Boston circles as the connector. With psandallmarketinggroup.com, I've created a side gig to connect you and get things done. Please sit back and relax and listen to today's podcast. If you are driving or operating heavy machinery and just listening, then please just listen and stay focused on your task at hand. Thanks again for listening. Enjoy my ponderings. Let #PaulPonders begin.
Greetings, everyone. How is everyone doing today? Welcome to another episode of #Paul Ponders. Well, today we have a very unique way of presenting our podcast to you. I first want to welcome our distinguished guest, Mr. Tom DiBenedetto. Tom, welcome.
Nice to be here. Thank you.
Great to have you here. I just want to congratulate you again on your upcoming induction into the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame, Massachusetts chapter. Congratulations on that, Tom.
Thank you. It's an honor to be put into this Hall of Fame with many of the previous inductees.
Absolutely, without a doubt. So for those of you who are hearing this podcast, a few tickets are still available. If you want to give me a shout out at paul@paulponders.com, or if you want to call me on my cell phone, 617-240-4130. If you want to, in fact, attend the event coming up at Anthony's in Malden, 105 Canal Street, you'll have a chance to see Tom inducted into the National Italian-American Sports Hall of Fame, along with Dominic Sato, who is a graduate of the class of 1976, Malden High, and he's a two-time powerlifting champion and a world champion in powerlifting. So Tom, for our listeners in the audience, is in fact a minority owner of the Boston Red Sox and a former chairman of a soccer club in Rome. We'll be hearing more about Tom in this podcast and all the questions that we'll have for him. But here's the unique part about what this podcast is going to be. We're actually going to take a few minutes just to record what the guests in attendance will be hearing on October 15th at Anthony's. And I'm just going to lead in with the beginning part of what the program is going to be all about. And if you look up these words in the dictionary, these phrases in the dictionary, you will see the name and the picture of Thomas DiBenedetto, with what he has accomplished in his illustrious career, not only in sports and in what he's done, but really the great career he's had in business. A very successful entrepreneur, investment banker, just an incredible human being. And I've had the opportunity to interview Tom and to get to know him over the past month or two. And I will say that I am totally blown away with his great accomplishments. So, Tom, we're about to start recording, have you just speak for about 3 minutes, but I'm going to lead you in. And then after we finish we'll be just having a very casual conversation about your great career. So are you ready, Tom?
Sure.
Alrighty. So basically, this is what Tom DiBenedetto is all about. Hard work, teamwork, time management, discipline, perseverance, mental preparation, focus, accountability, and part of the Italian-American heritage. Tom, take it away.
I grew up in the streets of Everett. My parents were unfortunately divorced when I was just a little child. And I grew up with my mother and my grandmother. And my mother worked, and my grandmother basically raised me. I never had any other siblings, and my parents, neither one of them ever remarried, and they both lived in the city of Everett. They did take care to watch out for me over early years. I played sports 365 days of the year. My first really formal sports outside of Little League was the Parlin Junior High School, which in those days was, for me, in the 8th and 9th grade. We had outstanding teams, and I recall playing football. We had won 45 straight games, and our last game every year was against the Brockton All-Stars. Brockton would put their various junior high teams together and make an all-star team and play us. And that was in the 9th grade. And we won that game 6-0 when I stole the ball from a halfback and ran 40-odd yards for a touchdown. Then during the basketball season in the 9th grade, we played at the Boston Garden. Unfortunately, we lost in double overtime in the finals to Somerville Western Junior High. I made the all-tourney basketball team. That was sort of one of the highlights of my basketball career from that point on, actually. And then in baseball, John Barbady was our baseball coach. He was a great coach. He went on to coach at Watertown High in football and won the Super Bowl for them. And John, ironically, also coached out at Dr. Phillips High School in outside of Orlando, Florida, after he had retired. Then two of his players were A.J. Pazinski and Johnny Damon, who I had gotten to know in my future role as a owner of the Boston Red Sox. And Johnny Damon loved John Barbady so much that he worked to have the baseball field that Dr. Phillips named after John Barbady. And John also in retirement wound up being an assistant coach at St. John's Prep in Danvers. And John's still alive. It's a great coach. But after that, I went on to Everett High School, where I was a member of two state championship football teams and had the good fortune of playing with such great players as Pat Hughes and Frank Chaffee, friends of mine, and Jerry Grosso and Billy Piafrantonio and many others. And that was really a great experience. And that led to me being offered an opportunity to go to Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut, where I had 4 great years playing football there. I also played one game of baseball, which is an interesting story. Got up against Springfield my freshman year, hit a double off the wall. Just missed a home run. And we were getting killed, and that's where I got into the game. The next day in practice, I unfortunately, sliding into second base, broke my ankle. So I only got up once in college and got a double. And for various reasons, I never played baseball again in college. But I did enjoy playing football in college and had some great experiences, which culminated in my final game against Wesleyan, where I got the game ball for that game, and I cherished that greatly. We had a great season my senior year, and I still got together with my teammates. And in fact, we just this past weekend honored my coach, Don Miller, who was a 2-time All-American at Delaware. Don turned 90. He still has his faculties about him, and he remembers all his players, and it was a real great honor playing for him. And like my coach, Udi Sano at Everett High, there were great coaches and great men who loved their players. And it's something I'd like to say about coaches. coaches do great things for their players, and they're great leaders, and they're great leaders of men, and they teach their players so much. Sports have been a great honor for me, and as I got older, and I went to graduate school at the University of Pennsylvania and Wharton School, and then went to Wall Street, and was fortunate enough to wind up being a partner in the Boston Red Sox in 1978. Have been involved ever since. And then I became the first American to be president of an Italian Serie A football club. I've managed to meet an awful lot of people who have had an impact on my life. I must say, of all those people, the coaches that I had, I look back and the lessons I learned from them have been so impactful in my life. Lessons that teach you management of your time, your perseverance, your loyalty, and hard work. These are all things that contribute to one's success. And sort of the great Winston Churchill always said, never give up. People have challenges in life, and they have failures in life, and no one ever is devoid of those. But if you never give up and you pick yourself up, you will succeed in life. And certainly, I've had my share of all of those things, and I'm very grateful to my coaches and the lessons I learned on the athletic fields and what I learned on the streets of Everett. And by the way, those lessons I learned there probably saved my life many times when I was doing some of the work I did in the streets of Moscow, which I spent many years in. I'm very grateful for everyone who crossed my path, all the players I played with, many who were much better players than I. But I always gave my best, and that's the other thing is you can never give more than your best, but always give your best. And grateful and thankful, and also my professors. I'm still in contact with my advisor who advised me at Trinity College, and it's over 50 years now. And fortunately, he's still alive, and he was very instrumental in my growth as a student. I can't say enough about how important studying is and how important my education was. The ancient Greeks were both athletically minded and studious minded, and I tried to stay that way my whole life. So I'm very thankful. I'm very thankful for what the Almighty has given me, and I have 5 sons. All 5 went to Trinity College, and 2 of them played professional baseball. One still does, because he plays in the independent leagues now. I followed him, and my wife and I have been fortunate. I've been married. I'll be married 40 years this weekend. And I've been fortunate. We've been fortunate to be able to travel the world to watch some players. My sons have played all over the world. So from the streets of Everett to the rest of the world, it's been a great journey. I thank you, and I'm very proud of my Italian American heritage, and I wish my dad were here to see it. My dad came over to this country when he was 16 years old, and I don't think he could have imagined everything that I've been able to experience. And one other thing, when I was a kid growing up, my uncle Arthur Moscato became the ticket manager of the Boston Red Sox. So as a young boy growing up, I always had Red Sox tickets. I really didn't have any money, but I had Red Sox tickets. And that was better than money. And the first date with my wife was at Fenway Park. And on a honeymoon, we ended our honeymoon at Fenway Park watching Carly Yastrzemski's last 2 games. The Red Sox have always been deep into my heart, and they still are, despite how the season has ended. But I love the Red Sox, I love the Patriots, I love the Celtics, I love the Bruins, I love the Boston sports teams. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you, Tom, and that concludes the recording aspect of what the listeners, what the attendees in attendance at the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame Massachusetts chapter induction ceremony will be hearing, along with a slideshow presentation. Again, tickets are still available if you wanted to reach out to me at paul@paulponders.com. But now let's just go back and forth on your wonderful, wonderful career, Tom. And again, I congratulate you on your great accomplishments and all. But just speaking to you and just learning so much about life in general with what you've experienced in life. And it all started in the streets of Everett, and you talked about the greats, about Bobby Leo, who's going to be in attendance. He's an honoree. He's an inductee. Bobby Leo and Frank Champa. Just some greats of yesteryear, along with Coach Moody Sano, and the Everett tradition of having great coaches and great mentors and all. Tell us about what it was like growing up. And I think you were president of your class, for Everett High School class of 1967, I believe.
Yes, I was. Yes.
That was great. And you always wanted to go into college to study economics, right?
Right, that's correct.
And you made a great career of it in the world of investment banking. Tell us about where you worked and what your life was like after Trinity College and just going into the business world. I'm fascinated with your business world history.
Yeah. Well, going to Trinity College, I majored in economics, but I also took courses in literature, different types of literature, like Oriental literature and Shakespeare and things of that nature, because I wanted to get exposed to different cultures. I took it. In fact, I took 2 years of Italian in a year of Italian literature, and I found all that to be very helpful to me when I started going to places like Moscow and Hungary and different parts of Eastern Europe, because I wasn't at all fearful of meeting with people from all these different cultures, because I felt that the education that I had received had prepared me well for meeting with people who had different backgrounds, and basically people are people. And I found that the first thing to do was to find some common bind between you and the other person that you were meeting with, despite the fact that they were from some other part of the world that was theoretically different from you. But basically, people are people, and everybody would like to find a way to get close to you. So my education, and in addition to all, what you learned in books and so forth, was one of meeting different people from different types of backgrounds and different cultural backgrounds, and learning from them. And basically to this day, I find myself, never stop learning, and that's I enjoy that greatly.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and when I graduated from Wharton, I went to work in Wall Street as an investment banker, doing real estate finance and corporate finance, and I worked at Morgan Stanley, and then Solomon Brothers, and then Allen and Company. So I did that for 10 years combined in those three firms, and then I went into business myself after.
That's great. And I remember you saying that you joined the Red Sox as a minority owner in 1978.
Yes, in 1978. That's correct.
That's great. And you're still involved with the Fenway Group, right?
Yeah, the Fenway Sports Group, which owns the Red Sox and Liverpool and Roush Racing and McElroy's golf team that will be starting in January, and some advisory businesses, sports advisory, marketing businesses also.
That is tremendous. And you were also involved with the AS Roma sports soccer team.
Yes. And that was way back in 2011, and I was head of that for a while, and that was a very interesting experience. Again, a different cultural experience. I got to spend a fair amount of time in Italy during those couple of years that I was head of the team. But I enjoyed the experience, and it was something that is now, these teams now are, and I think, incredibly valuable. I was a little ahead of my time, but
Without a doubt, and it just goes to show the type of person you are, returning to your roots, really, in Boston. You love the Boston sports scene. You love Trinity College, and you still do a lot of counseling and a lot of mentoring with potential applicants to Trinity College. And you've been on the board of trustees, longtime trustee of Trinity College. And also, there's a stadium in your name. Congratulations, DiBenedetto Stadium. Tell us about that. What's that about?
well, the baseball stadium at Trinity bears my name, and so it's a great stadium. We have great athletic fields at Trinity, and quite honored that has taken place. And we have, with the Boston Red Sox, we have several people from Trinity College who work there, including the president, Sam Kennedy, a very talented fellow, and the president of Liverpool, Billy Hogan, a very talented fellow. There's quite a few others there, and also the head of the PGA, who used to work for the Fenway Sports Group, is also a Trinity College grad. So, and actually, Derek Falvey was an intern for me, who's a member of the Falvey family that originated out of Everett. He's a Trinity grad, and he's president of the baseball operations for the Minnesota Twins. And his cousin, who also went to Trinity, is now head of business development for the University of Colorado, which has this guy Deion Sanders as their coach. In Fort Myers, we have a relationship with Deion that goes way back. We have a lady who works with us who's really part of our family. She's been with us for 30 years. It's an interesting story because her daughter went to the senior prom with Deion. And then eventually Deion asked her to marry him, but she refused. She said, "Deion, you're not ready for marriage." She was right, by the way. But Deion's mother and our friend Janice Moore are best friends, and so Deion periodically comes to Fort Myers, and he's very friendly with Janice's two grandsons, who both played in the NFL. Jalen Watkins, whose half-brother Sammy still plays, and Jeremy Ware, Jeremy was a defensive back for Oakland and then he broke his ankle, and so his career was shortened. But Jalen played 8 years, and I'm pretty friendly with Jalen. So anyway, so we have this, through Brendan now, we have this relationship heightened with Deion. And the mayor of Fort Myers, my friend Billy Smith, he always had a good relationship with Deion when he was mayor. I've been watching all of the Colorado games now. I'm really good friends with the Falveys. In fact, his grandfather was one of my dad's best friends. They worked together at the MD States.
Oh, that's great.
It's a small world. The world's a very small world. And then, that's another thing. If you're nice to people, it eventually comes back to you. It doesn't hurt to be nice to people.
That is so true. So as we wind down this wonderful podcast of Paul Ponders and all, what could you tell our listeners about life in general if you're looking to, in fact, get involved in something that you truly love? What's your advice?
If you have a passion for something, pursue your passion, work hard, study it, and find a way to connect with people in the area that you have a passion for, and prepare yourself for it. Study, train, whatever it is you want to do in that field, just prepare yourself for it. People that excel in different fields, in most cases, it's not an accident. They work hard. They train or study, and then when the opportunity comes, don't be afraid to fail. It's like in sales. Somebody once told me, you got to try about a dozen times with the same customer before you get the sale. So don't be afraid if someone says no. You could just keep on going back. show the people you care, show the person you care that you really want it, and then once you get the opportunity, just work hard, show up early and leave late.
Is it true that no is the second best word you hear in sales? Yes is the first?
Yeah, that's right.
I love it.
Yeah, that's it. You're right. You just got to keep on knocking on the door. Eventually they'll say yes.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's people coming to me, eventually they say yes.
I love it. Well, Tom, this has been an absolute honor. Again, I congratulate you on your honor being inducted into the National Italian American Sports Hall of Fame, Massachusetts chapter, Sports Hall of Fame. Congratulations, Tom.
The honor is mine. I am really honored to be in the presence of people like my distant relative, Bobby Leo, who, as a kid, I idolized Bobby. There were very few who were as good as he was.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, you're welcome. Thank you, really. And again, if you go to Merriam-Webster Dictionary and you look up phrases and words such as hard work, teamwork, time management, discipline, perseverance, mental preparation, focus, and accountability, I think there's a very good chance that you will see Tom DiBenedetto or his picture under those words and all. So, Tom, again, thank you. And until we meet again, everyone, I want to thank you for joining us today with another episode of #Paul Ponders, #Indeed. I trust that you have enjoyed #Paul Ponders. Again, my name is Paul Solano of PS&All Marketing Group, and I may be reached via email at paul@paulponders.com to do some more pondering. Many thanks to my longtime collaborative friend and associate, Chalonzo Amos of Pod Pro Entertainment, in bringing you our fun, exciting, informative podcasts. You rock, Techie Chalonzo. With PS&All Marketing Group, I created a side gig to connect you and get things done. Please do not hesitate to reach out to me at paul@paulponders.com with any questions. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at Paul Ponders. Follow us on Twitter at Paul Ponders Pod. Follow us on Instagram at Paul Ponders Podcast. Thank you again for listening to #Paul Ponders, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, our website, paulponders.com, or wherever you stream your podcasts. Subscribe, stream, rate, and review our shows. Your ratings and reviews help our show reach new audiences. Produced by Pod Pro Entertainment, #Paul Ponders lives within a network of podcasts located at podproentertainment.com. #the new radio. Until we meet again, my friend, stay well. #Indeed.